Hey, what's up, guys? This is David Chase Taylor of 911truther.org. Today is August 31st, 2024. So, based on breaking news and events, it appears that CIA headquarters, located beneath CERN at Lake Geneva in Switzerland, is going to stage, for lack of a better term, a so-called occupation of the U.S. Capitol building and/or the greater National Capital Region, starting on the morning of September 1st of 2024. So, exactly what's going to happen is obviously not known, but apparently, because I publish roughly 14 reports every day for a direct attack on the U.S. Capitol and the surrounding National Capital Region, the CIA has evidently gone to Plan B, which appears to be a soft version that will eventually basically culminate in the very attacks which I publish a report for every day. So we saw this initially with the January 6th attack, the false flag attack on the U.S. Capitol back on January 6th of 2021, where they didn't actually stage the attack that I had published for, but they staged a vandalism attack, and then they killed a bunch of people post-event. So coincidentally, the date of September 1st of 2024 marks exactly 1,334 days since the January 6th attack. This obviously has not only the pi numerology of 3.14, which is evident in the numerology of the January 6th attack, 1/6, which is 16, which is p, which is pi, but also 3/4, as in Donald Trump's 34 felony counts, but as well as the number 33, which is cc, which is for the way that they measure medicine in centric centimeters, I believe. So that's because this particular event, this plan for tomorrow, will end up with the releasing of the chemicals beneath Twinning Lake at the Capitol, which is a BX nerve gas stockpile. Also, it's imperative to note that the numerology of 1/6, January 6, and 9/1 bears the 6 and 9 numerology, as well as the 9/11 numerology, which is because this attack will likely culminate in some sort of 9/11 style attack on the Capitol. So exactly what's planned is obviously not known, but it appears that the 25,000 Israelis called up during Operation Breaking Dawn are going to be wearing Carhartts and Levi's and be bearing American flags, and then they're going to call up all the patsies that work for the federal government. And it's basically going to be a culmination. So you're going to have a bunch of agent provocateurs. You're going to have a bunch of Israeli military. You're going to have a bunch of dirty cops. You're going to have a bunch of gang members. You're going to have a bunch of people. And then once this crowd begins to swirl around the Capitol, then you're going to have your Palestinians come in, your Iranians, your Russians, and shit's going to hit the fan, basically. And there's been a number of events that have happened in Washington, D.C. There's been shootings, there's been ramming attacks, there was the attack on the U.S. Capitol, January 6th, as I mentioned, and all these different events have basically created the logistics cover for the implementation of weapons, explosives around the U.S. Capitol grounds. So, exactly how it's going to play out is obviously not known, but it's expected to start tomorrow, and will likely conclude with arson attacks, bombings, chemical attacks, biological outbreaks, and of course this is all designed to culminate in the arrest of Donald J. Trump for allegedly inciting or ordering this attack. So they're planning on killing 5 or 6 birds with one stone if so to speak, with this event that will obviously take America to a very dark place. This is why I believe that when Kamala Harris has not given a solo interview since receiving the Democratic nomination is because they're waiting for something big to drop so that she can basically stand up and act like a president. And this would obviously, despite what the media is saying, there's her popularity, and as more things come out about Kamala and her past and her lying about working at McDonald's and being unable to hold a press conference like a presidential candidate should be able to do. So the CIA is basically trying to change the narrative of not only the 2024 election, but of the fact that nobody's in charge. I mean, Joe Biden is on a beach in Delaware for the last 3-4 weeks, and so nobody's in charge, and so that's why it will be said at a later date that his lack of leadership or whatever invited this attack to transpire. So, like I said initially, it will probably start out with a bunch of what are called patsies. These are people that have very low IQs that work for various federal agencies, and these are people like Timothy McVeigh, people like Hal Turner, people like Alex Jones, that are basically useful idiots, and they're told to do something as part of some operation, and they think that because they're getting paid and because they're dealing with local, state, or federal agencies, they think they're protected, and they're not. And they always get double-crossed, and that's why the attack on January 6th is the 6th, and that's the letter F originally, and that's the double cross, and that's because they get stabbed right in the back at a later date, as we saw with over 1,200 of the original January 6th protesters being indicted on various charges. So, anyways, this particular event planned for September 1st is basically designed to knock out one Donald J. Trump, spawn a second global biological pandemic, and basically trigger martial law and deploy the U.S. National Guard. And so they hope to achieve all these goals with this impending event. I don't even really know what to call it because it would be kind of a start out small and then escalate rather quickly. We may also see, people like I mentioned, Alex Jones, Hal Turner, the FBI, patsies, etc. But you're going to see probably KKK, neo-Nazis, and you're probably going to see a lot of like Mongols, Hells Angels, a lot of so-called Christian nationalists, because that's what they want to do. So basically, it's going to be like January 6th, but on steroids. And then once the world is watching, once all the TVs channels have tuned in, and once all these thousands of people are swarming around the Capitol, then you're going to see start out with mass shootings, suicide bombings, and then it'll start escalating up, and then it's probably going to climax with some sort of nuclear event or some sort of biological, chemical, radiological, or nuclear event in Washington, D.C., and that would achieve one of their other goals, which is to move the capital of the United States to the Space Force base at Colorado Springs, Colorado. Inside this mountain in Colorado, they have this massive, massive underground bunker, and that's where Kamala Harris will begin her presidency, essentially, because in the aftermath of this impending event, the CIA will obviously knock out one Joseph R. Biden in the process. So Kamala will become president, Trump will be arrested, martial law will be declared, the National Guard will be deployed, a quarantine will likely be imposed, and or World War III. And in order to arrest Trump, they're probably going to say that it was linked to Russia, and then they'll go back to their Russia hoax and probably arrest a number of Trump's family members and a number of people in the U.S. government. So like some sort of a Night of the Long Knives American version. So, anyways, obviously, praying for a peaceful tomorrow. And I should also note in closing that this event is basically, well, I don't know exactly how to say it, but it's basically what they've been trying to do all along. So it's tired at this point. They've been basically trying to stage an actual attack on the Capitol, which we have thus far thwarted. So hopefully that will continue to be the case. So, anyways, praying for a peaceful Sunday, September 1st. Peace.